Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we are reacting to the Star-Spangled Banner as you have never heard it. Now this was a suggestion by a viewer, subscriber, a watcher, someone who watched my video by the name of Have You Seen My Baseball 8920? I get the reference to your name, by the way. Something About Mary, the movie. Awesome name, pretty funny movie, quite old. Is that hair gel? You know what I mean. Not that I need hair gel. But yeah, he or she comments, you should check out the Star-Spangled Banner as you have never heard it before. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never really heard the Star-Spangled Banner properly, so I'm quite interested to see this. Before anyone jumps down my throat, I've had a few comments saying you should research before you do this. I'm not going to research the videos I'm reacting to because then I'm not going to give you an honest opinion or honest reaction to it. And I'm trying to keep this as authentic as I can. So I apologize in advance if anyone gets offended. I'm just going to react to it like I've just seen it, because that's what I'm doing. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, because we are growing awesomely, and I feel in life you need to grow in order to progress. So help me grow and progress by clicking that subscribe button, and if you're feeling extra frisky, you may as well click the like button as well. Anyway, let's get into Star-Spangled Banner as you've never heard it before.
There was a lawyer once. His name was Francis Scott Key. He penned a song that I'm sure you're aware of. You've seen it. It's in most hymnals throughout our churches. It's called the national anthem. It is our song as an American. We go, however, to a ball game. We stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips, and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict.
Funny enough, I watched a movie, was it yesterday or the day before, The Patriot. It's one of my favorite movies, and I don't know where this is going, but just seeing this picture it reminded me of that movie.
With the mother country, Britain.
Yeah,
because
the redcoats.
Of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners. They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis. Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men. And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free. He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth.
I tell you what, I said it the other day on one of my other videos. I admire the heck out of how much pride the American people have in their flag. I think it's amazing. I think every country in the world should feel as proud of their flag as they do, as America does. I'm a bit of a history. I love my history. I'll watch, if you look at my YouTube, my private YouTube account that I've got, it's all like old history videos. I've never come across this video. I watch like Time Team and that sort of thing where they go and dig for ancient Roman artifacts and stuff. I love history. I love history. And I have done a little bit of reading about this war, and it was a pretty brutal war. And like I say, The Patriot's one of my favorite movies. And funny enough, I watched it 2 nights ago and on Netflix, and what an awesome movie that is. I know I'm mumbling, but yeah, this just reminds me of that.
He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet. He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort. It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war's over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort. They said, don't worry about it. They said, we've left them a way out. And he said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately. And we'll know that they've surrendered, and you'll now be under British rule. Francis Scott Key went down below and told the men what
they're not going to lower that flag, are they?
And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top, and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed. He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is.
Yo.
What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still
heck.
flying over the rampart?
You see that flag, man? Oh, amazing.
1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling. Every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb, and Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down. The admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them? He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees.
Oh, that's it. That's so powerful, man. That's so powerful. Oh, die on his feet before he lives on his knees.
Said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer. God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. Sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle, but the flag was still at the top.
I got goosebumps,
Francis
man.
Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he'd found had happened was that that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when it had fallen, men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground, although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly.
Fucking hell.
Until they died.
Oh.
Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were Patriots' bodies. He penned the song, "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Or the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there."
Flip, I didn't know those were the words. I've never looked into it, and I never knew that.
Say, does that star-spangled banner yet fly and wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The debt was demanded. The price, it was paid.
Oh, say,
Whoa.
can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets break through, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, say, does that star
I don't mean any disrespect by pausing it. I try to keep quiet as much as I could through the whole video, so I wouldn't disrespect anything. That is an amazing story. I did not know that. That is freaking awesome. Just think of those men who sacrificed their lives to hold that flag up because it meant that much. Now it sort of makes sense why there's such pride in the American flag and why lots of households will have the flag in their front garden. All the schools will have the flag. Well, I don't know about all the schools, but I was reading comments that said a lot of the schools will have the flag. That is amazing. They also have their state flags as well. So I've read, so people have put in the comments on my videos as well. But I think that's an awesome story. Awesome story. And like, it's so funny that these things happen. Like, I watched the Patriot the other night, which was basically that war that was being spoken about, and even in that movie they just wouldn't give up, and yeah, they kicked the Brits out of there. But yeah, thanks so much for your suggestion. I'll let the video play now till the end. I just wanted to get a word in there so you don't think I'm just sitting there like an idiot. I just didn't want to disrespect anybody by interrupting too much in the video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll let this play out till the end. Have a great day.
Star-spangled banner, yeah.
Have a great day. Peace.